Marriage has its nuances, and navigating it can feel unfamiliar, even confusing at times. But what if we could learn from real moments as they unfold? Let's take a look at the lives of Jola and Obinna and see what marriage really looks like beyond the wedding. Alright, so this is something new. Welcome to Abby's Nest. In this series, we're talking about the real basics of marriage. Not just the big moments, but the everyday things that actually shape it. And we'll be doing that through the lives of Jola and Obinna. Nothing perfect, just real life as it unfolds. So, let's enjoy this journey together. Come along. The first time Jola and Obinna stepped into their apartment as a married couple, it didn't feel grand, but it felt real. Just a few days earlier, they had been in Ondo. Jola's hometown had been alive with celebration. The wedding was everything people expected it to be: loud, colorful, full of laughter and familiar faces. Family members moving up and down, friends showing up with energy, music that didn't seem like it would ever stop. At some point, it felt like the moment would last forever. But like everything else, it ended. The drive back to Abuja was different, quieter. The excitement had settled, leaving behind something softer, something more reflective. Jola sat by the window, watching the road stretch endlessly ahead. Every now and then, she adjusted slightly in her seat, her mind moving between moments she had just left behind and the life she was returning to. Obina drove steadily, occasionally glancing at her, not to interrupt, just to check in silently. They didn't talk much, and it wasn't uncomfortable. It was the kind of silence that sits gently between two people who don't need to force conversation. By the time they got into Abuja and turned into their compound in Lugbe, everything had already settled in. The compound was calm, neat, almost too quiet compared to where they were coming from. No music, no voices calling their names, no one pulling them into conversations, just stillness. Jola stepped out of the car first. She stretched slightly, then looked around, taking it in. Obina came around from the driver's side, locking the car. For a brief moment, they just stood there, looking at the building, at the space, at what was now theirs. "It's quiet," Jola said, almost amused. Obina nodded. "Very." She glanced at him. "No one shouting your name. No auntie dragging you somewhere." He laughed. "You're not complaining." She smiled. "I don't know yet." They walked toward the door together. Not rushed, not hesitant, just aware. Because somehow, both of them understood it. This was different now. Jola dropped her small travel bag by the door and took a slow look around. Even though she had seen the place before, it felt new again, more serious. "Is it just me?" she said, smiling. "Or does this place feel smaller now?" Obina laughed as he shut the door. "That's because you have now brought all your things into it." She turned quickly. "My things?" He raised his hands. "Our things, sorry, our things." She shook her head, smiling. They moved through the apartment slowly, taking it in again. The living room was simple. A small grey sofa, a center table, a TV stand, with wires still slightly visible behind it. Nothing fancy, just enough. The kitchen was spacious. Jola opened the cabinets and sighed softly. "We'll manage this space somehow." Obina leaned casually. "We are just starting, Jola. We'll upgrade." She nodded. I know. I actually like it. She paused. It's ours. The bedroom felt quieter, more personal. The bed was already set from weeks before. Jola sat at the edge, looking around slowly. This is really happening, she said. Obina sat beside her. It is. A soft pause. She leaned into him gently. Mrs. Obinna Wachuku. He smiled. I'm still getting used to that. The days that followed were soft, unpacking, arranging, adjusting. Jola would organize the kitchen. Obina would come in and shift something. Obina, please, I just arranged this. But this makes more sense. It doesn't. You don't understand my system, she laughed. Your system is chaos. They didn't travel for a honeymoon, but somehow those 2 weeks felt enough. Late mornings, no alarms. Some days they ate properly. Other days they sat on the floor with takeaway packs, talking about nothing important, and still it felt like everything. It started quietly. Laundry. Jola stood in the bathroom, staring at a basket of clothes. She wasn't angry, just unsure. Obinna, she called. He stepped in. Yes? She looked at him. I can't keep washing like this, so. He paused. It's just for now. She shook her head. No, I'm serious. I thought you would adjust, he said. She repeated it slowly. Adjust? Her tone changed lightly. Obinna, we talked about this. He hesitated. There were a lot of expenses already. She exhaled. I'm not asking for luxury, just something easier. It wasn't a big fight, but it was the first difference. A few minutes later, a delivery came. Jola opened it and froze. Obinna! He rushed in. What happened? She turned, smiling wide. It's a washing machine. They both laughed. Relief. Real relief. Oh, it must be from Auntie. Oh, her jolly good Auntie Lamide had sent the washing machine just before they got to Abuja. Things felt lighter again. They adjusted, helped each other more, found the rhythm, not perfect, but working. And for a while, that was enough. But life doesn't stay still. It never does. The honeymoon feeling didn't end with a problem. It ended quietly on a Monday morning. The alarms came back, the routines returned, and just like that, real life resumed. Jola woke up first. She sat at the edge of the bed for a moment, letting the day settle in before she moved. Then she stood, got ready, shifted. By the time she faced the mirror, she was already stepping into a different version of herself. Focused, composed, ready. In the kitchen, she moved quickly. Obina joined shortly after, still easing into the morning. You're up early, he said. I have to be. They left the house together side by side, but already not in the same headspace. By evening, the day had taken its toll. Jola got home after Obina. She dropped her bag gently and stood still for a second, like her body needed time to catch up with her. Obina was on the sofa, engaged and engrossed in his phone. The house was so quiet. It was familiar, but different from the kind of quiet they had enjoyed before. Obina was just calm, relaxed, His day had been fine, normal. "How was your day?" Jola asked. "It was okay. Yours?" Still on his phone. She paused briefly. Long. It didn't happen all at once. There was no big moment, no arguments, just small things. Obinna sat on the couch, scrolling through his phone, relaxed, unbothered. Jola moved around the kitchen, quietly, handling what needed to be done. At some point, she glanced towards him. He didn't notice, not because he didn't care, but because nothing to him felt wrong. Dinner came and went. Conversation was there, but lighter, shorter even. Later that night, they lay on the bed. Same room, same space, but something had shifted. Jola stared ahead for a while before turning slightly. "Obinna, are we okay?" He didn't hesitate. "Of course we are." And he meant it. And as he turned back to his phone, and Jola turned the other way, something quiet settled between them. Not loud, not dramatic, just distance. And sometimes the most dangerous changes in a marriage are the ones that happen so quietly you don't even realize when they begin. And for Jola, that quiet distance was only the beginning. Now, this is where it gets interesting. What do you think usually starts issues in a new marriage? Do you think Obinna was getting a bit too comfortable, or was Jola already feeling overwhelmed? This is where things start to change. We'll continue in the next episode. If you really enjoy relatable stories like this, don't forget to subscribe. This is Abby's Nest, just real life as it unfolds.